Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? So, today our topic is the constellation of Draco. So, first of all, what I would love to explain is to take away some of the myths that we usually have around this constellation, because usually we can relate this constellation with um, the dragons and the bad people, um, the reptilians, and so on. So I would love to take all these myths around for a moment so we can clean the idea of this constellation, because it is not really that. So first of all, to understand this, that usually when we say Draco, which in Latin means dragon, we usually have this idea that everything that is connected to a dragon or a reptilian will be connected to this constellation. So remember that the names of the constellations had no relation with what happened in the stars, as we have spoken already. That the constellations, these constellations are named like that because of our point of views, but not because of the truth. It's not because they really are living, or those stories are happening in those constellations. So what I wanted to explain first is that we have to take out the idea that the people that lives in that constellation maybe are called the draconian people, but it doesn't mean that they had the shape of a dragon or or reptiles. When we talk about the constellations, like saying, for example, like saying from the dragon constellation, there are coming these reptilian beings that are trying to control us and so on. We are just living through our point of view, which is the perception of psychology from this world. From our point of psychological point of this planet, we project this idea in mythology. We are living through mythologies. So we usually project what we believe from the stars into the history of the stars, which is not exactly like that. It's not related to that. So yes. And for example, when we speak about Pleiades, usually we think that they are these enlightened beings that helps us to find the path to the light. But this is because in the history, these beings, the people from Pleiades, the Pleiades were seven sisters related with the Muses. Okay, so that's why we live in that perception of the skies. So when we speak about the stars, we are not speaking about what is happening in those stars. We are usually speaking about our perception and point of view our uh, um, of our vision of the stars. So also something important, because for sure you have heard or read about these concepts in YouTube or whatever, that we usually project into the stars ideas that we have from here. Like, for example, we used to say, from this constellation comes the good people, from this constellation comes the bad people. And that is really weird to say, because we can compare that when we say, for example, all the Argentinians are like this, all the Spanish people are like that, all the North American people is like that. Okay, so kind of if we say this country, all the people is the bad ones, and that country, all the people are the good ones. And it's not like this. It's not how it works. Okay, so so imagine that we project that into a whole constellation, and the constellation is not even seen as a constellation from their point of views. So I know that here on Earth we are very racist. So let's try not to make this racism something from the whole galaxy. So let's go into why then why the ancient ones used to call dragon to this constellation. Not because the people from there was looking like dragons, but because for the ancient ones, the dragon was the one that was looking straight. Okay, and the constellation of the dragon is the one that was taking care, looking for each one of the constellations. So because of this is that so because of this is why we started to because of this they call the constellation the dragon, taking care of the whole sky. And why the dragon was taking care of the sky? Because dragon comes from the word the Greek word drakein. Drakein in Greek means the one that watch straight, that sees deep. So that's what it means. So drakon is the adjective of drakein. So drakon is the one that stares, the one that looks and stares straight to something. So that's why drakon is the word for the guardian, the one that takes care of something, that protects something, that is watching to take care of something. That's what what in Greece they call drakon, which is the origin of dragon. Dragon. So basically, for the ancient ones, the dragon was not a creature that was, I don't know, like a weird creature, but the dragon was the guardian of a city, the guardian of something. Okay, that's what a dragon was really, the one that took care of something. So why this constellation was called the dragon? Because this constellation was the only one, is the only one that is constantly fixed in the sky. And now we are going to try to understand why. And that's why I did this little drawing. So this is the North Hemisphere in the boreal constellations. So I draw it right now because it would be very difficult to see this, okay, the reflection and so on. Okay, so this constellation here is the one that is the most important for us today, because this is the Ursa Minor, and this star here is Polaris. There you have Polaris in Ursa Minor constellation. So remember that here we have a circle, and this is the circle where the Earth is spinning in 26,000 years. This is the precession of the equinoxes. Okay, the precession of the equinoxes, when the Earth is spinning like this, moving the North Pole, it takes 26 years to make the whole turn. But this whole turn now takes us to Polaris. But if we go back in time to the Egyptian time, we have Alpha Draconis, this star here. And then we go back in time and we have Hercules. And then we go 12,000 years ago and we have Vega in the Lyra constellation. And then going back again to Cygnus and Cepheus, and again Polaris. So all this turn around, yes, is 26,000 years. It takes 26,000 years. And here you have the polarity from Polaris in the star and Vega, yeah, all the constellations that we spoke about: Ursa Minor, Cepheus, Cygnus, Lyra, Hercules, okay, and Draco. So this is the whole circle. Look into this. If the Earth is here, if the Earth is here, so the North Pole is spinning, moving around, doing the whole circle of the history. And it's pointing with the axis to one star that is not fixed. It's moving through history. So all this story of 26,000 years, it's moving the axis of the Earth. But it creates a circle in which we have the center of all this time and space. Which constellation is that? Draco, the Draco constellation. So in this circle, if I try to connect and find the center, I will find that here I have the face, the head of the dragon, the neck of the dragon, and then the chest of the dragon, and the whole body with a tail. So in the center, what I find? The heart of the dragon. So as you see, the dragon, this constellation, is the heart of everything. From its heart, it connects all the times and all the spaces through time and space. So this heart of the dragon is the one that is staring constantly to everything, every constellation, every star, straight into them. And that's why this is called the dragon, because dragon means the one that is staring, looking. So once we said this, we can understand that astronomically and etymologically, the dragon has nothing in common with the etymology. Sorry, with the mythology. Okay, so astronomy and etymology in one side and mythology in the other side. So now we have this division of the two things. We can understand that mythology, the vision of the mythology, is not related to the way of astronomy and the etymology of the word, why they call it like this. So mythology is much more related to the psychology. So the mythology tells us that we interpret the things through our psychology. Psychology comes from the Greek word psyche, that means soul. So it's the soul, the memory of the soul, that perceives through the archetypes that we have learned through history. It's all about the illusions of our point of views. That's the soul. So the point of views of the soul creates these archetypes that are creating the myths. So mythology. So that's why we project to the constellations the psychology of our myths. Okay, you got it? In the same way as we have said that the constellations, the 12 constellations, the zodiac signs, are related to the process of humans and agriculture of a group of people, okay, in the world. Okay, so let's talk about mythology so we can understand what our soul is perceiving. In order to understand the mythology of the dragon, we should not think that dragon comes, the image that we have from the dragon comes from the word dragon. It comes from something that is way older than that, which is the traditions of the totemic culture, the totems. The totems come from the shaman culture that were animists. Animists are those who follow the things that move, because anima means things that are moving, that animated, the things that are animated. So that's why they were following animals. So the animist people were those who were following the attributes of the things that were moving around the world. So that's why they had their gods and goddesses in the animal and vegetal kingdom. So they were following the attributes so they could become and handle these attributes of the nature. So that's why for us we call that animism. And they call each one of these animals or plants like totems. So they had to learn from each one of them so we could understand ourselves better. So what they did once was to put all the attributes of all these animals together as one, creating a new kind of being that could have all the different attributes of each one of the totems of the world. So what they did was to put the different plants and different animals, and they created this idea in the imaginary world, not related with something real, but related with the idea of God. So they created God. They manifested the idea of God in this being, in this great being. So this being had all the potentials in one. It was only one being. For some cultures, this being, this divine being, had all the information of the universe, all the attributes. So it was a good being teaching humans how to handle those attributes. And for other cultures, this being was something horrible and something really bad. Why? Because it has all the attributes, and if the humans were not right, so it would use its attributes to kill them and destroy them. So from this idea, we had a totem that unified all the potentials as a good one, and another one that unified all the potentials as the bad one. The version of Africa is the Sphinx. The Sphinx is this animal, this totem that put together different other attributes of animals, with wings, with paws, with different head of animals. So all together, this Sphinx is the one doing the exams to the humans, so to see if they are able or not to handle these attributes. So through the history, when the people from the Mediterranean Sea start to go to Asia and take all these totemic ideas, they mixed the chimera and the Sphinx from the Mediterranean cultures with the Asian cultures altogether. So now, these concepts of all these beings were seen from the point of view of the totems. And this means that the totems had these attributes that they can use it as tools, as a good one or bad one. But the bad one, the negative one, was really not taken as something bad, but as a weapon that was trying to protect the essence that was inside. So the tool that was the tool of the the attribute of the totem was used also as a weapon to protect themselves. We can relate that with our immunological system, the immune system. We can relate that with our same body trying to protect the things from the outside. So this idea creates the concept that this being is protecting something that is holy. That is something that it must be protected within. So this idea of the protection creates the stories in between the people that tells about these monsters, these totems that take care, protect, and guard the treasures that are within. Do you follow the story? And this is why in Greece they start to call these guardians as dragons, drakon. And here comes in the whole Europe the traditions of the dragon. So usually usually in the past they started to tell these stories that about the dragons, that in order for you to get what is behind the dragon, what is protected by the dragon, which is a treasure that is inside, you had to become a knight that fight against the dragon. And when you fight against the dragon, you will get what is behind: gold, power, normally a woman for that time. But now we are going to try to understand it, the significance of this. The gold is referring to the philosophical stone, which is to be able to enlighten in matter, to accomplish enlightenment in here, to take power, to become king or queen, is to restore the ability to rule my own life, to be able to decide my own destiny. And the women, the princes, usually represent the soul, the sensibility, the ability to have memory, to awake the potential of love. So the story says that the knight, which is the ego, the personality, has to face each one of the spines of the dragon, which are the different parts of the self, the different attributes of the totem, in order to integrate them. So when I stop fighting the dragon and I dare to see the dragon into its eyes, which is the symbology of drakon, that is to see straight to the eyes, and you see the soul of the dragon, you see the princess. And through the princess, you find the heart of the dragon, which is the soul. The dragon, the heart of the dragon. And when you position yourself in the heart of the dragon, you can see out of time and out of space, because the heart of the dragon doesn't have space nor time. The divine presence, I am here and now. So this precious gem of the universe, the heart of the dragon, this diamond in the center of everything that represents the I am, is covered by this dragon that represents all our fears, all the things that we hate, that we try to fight with, our darkness. And that's why throughout all the history, we have been fighting against our monsters. We have been creating the idea that the snakes, the reptilians, the dragonians, and the bad ones, and the demons, and so on, were trying to fight against us. and we have to fight back. But this idea is the one that the system wants for us to believe. Why? Because the light of transformation is surrounded by the dragon. And you cannot fight the dragon because it was designed to protect it. Each part of the attributes of the dragon is fighting back. It was designed to protect the heart. So the only way you can go into the heart of the dragon is if you see straight into its eyes, discover the soul. If you stare like a knight and you face to look into your own demons to rescue the soul, your own soul. So this is why the knight, the ego, is trying to look for a purpose through 26,000 years, moving around looking for something new. But the dragon is constantly up there, looking straight to the eyes to see if we keep looking for a purpose outside or we find the love within. Maybe the constellation of Draco now has a different perspective. So now remember that every time that you face something that hurts, that you fear, it's just the dragon trying to protect itself. And we also have this dragon within ourselves. This dragon is what we call the Kundalini, the snake that activates the inner power. And when we accomplish to activate it, it opens its feathers like Quetzalcoatl, the feather snake. And it opens the wings to fly. So this dragon that we have inside is surrounding and protecting the gems, the diamonds that we have within, the chakras. So it's protecting this holy information of the essence. And it goes and surrounds them and protect it so we can be still. But what happened? If we are incoherent, this dragon will protect itself. So this dragon was protecting us in 3 levels: in our actions, emotions, and thoughts. But if the dragon feels that we are not really well, it will protect itself through reaction in our body, through traumas in our soul, and through beliefs in our mind. From what is this dragon trying to protect us? From our own incapacity. So this dragon is not protecting only from stuff from the outside, it's usually protecting us from our own incapacities. It's the incapacity that we have to handle the resources that we have within. In the same way as our own dragon is protecting our own essence by the reactions, by the traumas, and by the beliefs, the earth also has this dragon protecting itself, its essence, by reactions, thoughts, beliefs, and traumas. So just to remind you and us all that that in order to work with the earth and how to heal this planet, we first have to do it with ourselves, with our own dragon, to watch straight to our own dragon into its eyes, and then we can do it with earth. So related to the task that Hercules has to do, the task of the apples in the garden of the Hesperides, there was this tree of life, of knowledge, that it has this apples of gold, made up of gold, that represent the wisdom. So now relate this tree of life with your own genetics, with your body. So you are the tree, and these apples are the chakras, the attributes that you have inside. So the dragon is the kundalini taking care of this tree, and then the ego is the hero that comes and tries to take away these apples from the tree and to kill the dragon, which is to kill the energy, the vital energy, and the ego, which is the knight. It comes and take it away, take the power away. So what we have to do is to restore this connection, so the knight can come bring the apples to the tree again, to take care of it and to look the dragon into its eyes. I don't know if it was a lot, but I think I said it all. So now if you see or face some draconian or a reptilian, you just tell to them, hey, thank you for taking care of my essence for so long. Now it's my turn. I can handle it.